Good evening to you all. I'm Rotarian Dr. G.N. Ramesh from the Rotary Club of Cochin Metropolis, your host for this evening. Welcome to Synergy Plus, the inauguration of the Membership Development Week of Rotary International District 3201. This program is brought to you by the Rotary Club of Coimbatore with the very dynamic Rotarian advocate Sundara Vadivel as the event chair. The matters of membership development in our district are being handled and given leadership by the very affable Rotarian S. Subramanian. My dear friends in Rotary and guests, if you just run your imagination a little bit wild, a little bit wide, and picture Rotary as a body, the fingers, the toes, the peripheries would be the clubs. The mind or the brain would be obviously equivalent to the leadership, and the various activities would be the avenues of service. But where would membership lie? Membership would obviously be the heart of Rotary. The heart brings vitality, the heart brings energy, the heart brings vigor to the body, and so does membership. Indeed, a very important aspect, and today we are gathered here to celebrate this very aspect of Rotary membership. Synergy Plus as a program, as an event, has been conceived for you by our very beloved Governor, Rotarian Jose Chaco, and the district trainer, past district governor, Rotarian Baby Joseph. As we come to you live, on Zoom, on YouTube, with an awesome program, a very powerful chief guest, and two great partners. The Toastmasters International, represented by the district director of District 121, Ms. Nirmala, and of course the Rotaract, which is a partner of Rotary, represented by the district Rotaract representative, Janani. A warm welcome to you all, and welcome to this event which has been branded as John Hugo at District 3201. To set the ball rolling, may I request our beloved district governor to come and call the meeting to order, and he will be accompanied by our First Lady, Rosemary.
Thank you, Dr. G. District Membership Development Week Inauguration, Synergy 2020 is hereby called to order.
Thank you, beloved Governor. For the Rotary prayer, it is over to Rotarian Mani, President of the host club, Rotary Club of Coimbatore. Over to you, Rotarian Mani.
Yeah, thank you. O God, creator of all things, father of mankind, we thank thee for inspiring our founder with the principles of Rotary based on high ideals of morality. We implore thee to help us Rotarians to imbibe deeply the true Rotary spirit and to labor incessantly for the establishment of peace and goodwill among all people, for the elimination of all bars of color, creed, and clime, for the removal of economic and social barriers, and for the proper understanding of the sanctity and human personality, and to the dignity of labor, so that all individuals, all families, and all nations may live in amity and fellowship and unite around thy holy feet and hail thee as thou really art, our one true, eternal, and all loving Father. Thank you.
Thank you, Rotarian Mani. We now go on to the four-way test, the Rotary four-way test, to be recited by Rotarian Ismail, who is the secretary of the host club, Rotary Club of Coimbatore. Over to you, Rotarian Ismail.
Good evening, all. The four-way test of the things we think, say, or do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rotarian Ismail. For all good things to start, we need to invoke the blessings from the Almighty. Lord Ganesha, otherwise or else known very popularly as Ganesh Bhagwan, and very affectionately as Ganapati Baba, is known to be the remover of all obstacles. His name is generally recited before undertaking any task at the beginning of any event or a joyous occasion. Stuti means to praise and in the process ask for blessings. Ladies and gentlemen, Ganesha Stuti, performed by the members of Shankara School of Dance, Kaladi, led by Rotarian Sumi Baiju, wife of Rotarian E.O. Baiju of Rotary Club of Angamali, Greater. Over to Sumi and team for this invocation dance, Ganesha Stuti.
गणनायकाय गणदैवताय गणाध्यक्षाय धीमहि गुणशरीराय गुणमण्डिताय गुणेशानाय धीमहि गुणातीताय गुणाधीशाय गुणप्रविष्टाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि गानचतुराय गानप्राणाय गानान्तरात्मने गानोत्सुकाय गानमत्ताय गानोत्सुकमनसे गुरुपूजिताय गुरुदैवताय गुरुकुलस्थायिने गुरुविक्रमाय गुह्यप्रवराय गुरवे गुणगुरवे गुरुदैत्यकलक्षे गीतसाराय गीततत्त्वाय गीतगोत्रा गजेशाय बालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि
Thank you very much, Rotary and Sumi and Shankara School of Dance, Khaldi, for that wonderful invocation. We are blessed. We move ahead. For the welcome address, the very dynamic event chair, Rotarian Advocate Sundara Vadivel. Over to you, sir, for the welcome address.
Meeting for us in this seminar for us to help to have a proper perspective and planning which will be taken up, imbibed by all of us in such a way that this seminar is going to be a path-breaking one for all of us, especially for our district. Under the leadership of our Rotary Governor, we are now doing a great job, and more laurels will come for our district. And I take this opportunity in welcoming every one of you for this seminar. And it's a privilege for the Rotary Club of Coimbatore to be the host of this seminar. And the seminar will be purposeful, meaningful. GS Ramesh was telling that heart and the pulsation of the heart, etc. as a doctor, but I feel that Rotary should pulsate into the very, very veins of all the Rotarians in such a way that great things will come for the cause of Rotary in the future. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Well said. Thank you very much, Rotarian Sundara Vadivel, for the welcome address as well as for having provided leadership to this event. Well, we are in the bang in the middle of the month of August, which is observed every year as the Membership Development Month. And the membership development activities in our district are being spearheaded by Rotarian S. Subramaniam. May I request District Chair, Rotarian S. Subramaniam, to briefly introduce the program team. Over to you, Subbu.
Yeah. Beloved District Governor, Rotarian Josh Chacko, Event Chairman, Rotarian Advocate Sundara Vedivelu, Chief Guest of this evening, Rotarian John Hiko, the General Secretary of Rotary International, our beloved District Trainer, Rotarian Baby Joseph, Assistant Regional Coordinator, ARCC, Rotarian PG Suresh Matthew, and my friends in Rotary, Rotract, Toastmasters, a warm good evening to each one of you. It gives me immense pleasure to address this gathering as the District Chairman, Membership Development of RI District 3201, which is one of the largest districts in India. We have over 145 clubs and 5,400 Rotarians. Geographical area of this Rotary district encompasses Coimbatore, Palakkad, Trichur, Angamali, high range up to Munnar, and the port city of Cochin. Our district has been adding members and clubs every year. While membership development is important all through the year, why do we celebrate just for 1 week? Yes, it's like any other celebration, like the Mother's Day or the Father's Day. Parents need to be loved, respected, and remembered all through the year and not just on those days alone. These celebrations are not only to introspect and find out where we stand and where we would like to reach. That is the main purpose of today's event. The district governor will spell out his vision and what is expected from each one of the clubs. The district directors will also disclose their plans of action. To have a tiny little bit of lighter moments, we will also have the launch of the Fellowship of the Music of Loving Rotarians of the Coimbatore region. The singers are all from the Rotary families, and we already have a fellowship running up in Cochin. Rotary Fellowship helps in bringing members of similar interests together and helps in increasing the bondage with members of various clubs. With these fellowships help in retaining members in Rotary. John Hiko, General Secretary of Rotary International, will share his views on membership in Rotary, and thereafter PDG Sunil Zakaria will interact with John and put forward all those questions which are lingering in my minds regarding membership. We also have the road tractors and Toastmasters with us today, represented by the DRR road tractor Janani Mani and Mrs. Nirmala Lilly, Director Toastmasters District 121. Rotary International and Toastmasters International have signed an MOU to work together. Road tractors are like rough diamonds. They must be cut and polished and made to be fit to be Rotarians. We find that a few road tractors join Rotary once they leave road track. We'll have a panel discussion of past, present, and future leaders, which will help us introspect. And at the end of this session, I'm sure we'll be able to come out with strategies to grow and sustain our membership strength. So, friends, we have an action plan program before you. Therefore, sit back and enjoy what unfolds on your computer screens. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rotarian Subramaniam. That was short, sweet, and very crisp. Well, it is not enough if we plan a program. We need to draft a roadmap to success too. Past District Governor Rotarian Suresh Matthew from District 3211, who is the Assistant Regional Coordinator, will now motivate us to plan this very roadmap. Over to you, PDG Rotarian Suresh Matthew.
Thank you, Rotarian Dr. G.M. Ramesh. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Let me first of all express my deepest appreciation to the club leaders of District 3201 for having decided to strengthen your club membership. For a unique district like 3201, it's better to grow your clubs vertically before thinking of a horizontal growth. With just 3 minutes, I'm sandwiched between the distinguished Toastmasters who are well known for their succinct speeches and its evaluation on one side, and a globally acclaimed orator par excellence, Rotary International General Secretary John Hugo on the other side. I have no other options, my dear friends, but to avoid salutations and get straight to the point. Friends, it is said that when Sundar Pichai was invited to lead Google as its global CEO, he was not the only one candidate who was considered for that much coveted post. Others in the line were equally or more competent than him. Yet it was finally Sundar Pichai who was destined to lead Google globally. Why? He had only one single edge over his competitors. And that was, my dear friends, he was born in a multi-populous, multicultural democracy called India. During his schooling at Vanavani School at the Chennai IIT campus, his peers were Muslim boys, Christians, Ayers and Iyengars, Mudriyas. They fought each other, they quarreled each other, they played together. Later, when he went to the renowned IIT Kharagpur to pursue his bachelor's in metallurgy, he teamed up with Punjabi boys, Rajasthani youth, Rajputs, Marwadis, Gujus and Malus. They argued, they debated, they agreed and disagreed. My dear friends, the founders of Google strongly felt that Only an young leader who was born and bred in a diverse democracy as India could lead a multiracial, multinational corporation like Google. Dear friends, I understand that a good number of non-Rotarians, Toastmasters, and prospective Rotarians attend this virtual meeting. Take it from me, dear friends, the success of any aspiring leader depends purely on his or her people skills. And Rotary is the right platform to acquire the art of people skills. Dear friends, let Rotary add a plus to your personality. Let Rotary be the roadmap to your success. Thank you.
Thank you very much. PDG Suresh Matthew. Very strong message going out, and I think indeed quite motivational also. Well, Rotary opens opportunities across the board, especially for the music lovers in Rotary. There are enough and more opportunities. Today is one such opportunity where we have a group that has been formed called the Fellowship of Music Loving Rotarians from Coimbatore. Music for the soul, they say, music for fellowship, music for Rotary. May I request, first of all, Rotarian Chella to please speak a few words on the formation of this particular group, and that will be followed by a formal inauguration of the same by our beloved District Governor. Over to you, Chella.
Thank you, Dr. GN. District Governor, Jose Chaco, and my dear friends in Rotary. Today, we take immense pleasure in launching the Fellowship of Music-Loving Rotarians of the Coimbatore Zone. The objective of the fraternity is to promote friendship through music among Rotary families. I can call this a relaunch because we had one earlier in 2008 and 9, but that could not sustain due to logistic reasons. With technology stepping in and with the support of Rotary leaders like Rotarian Ravichandran, Rotarian Satish, and Rotarian PP Lakshmanan, and few others, our task has become much easier. The fellowship, which is going to be launched today, I'm sure will keep growing. We already have about 40 members who have shown interest in being part of this fellowship. We have carried out the audition of 20 of them and got them graded by Rotarian Giridharan, a music director from Chennai. End of this month, we are having an inter-district music fest along with RI District 3232. If you are interested in joining this fellowship, please do get in touch with me. I now request our District Governor Jose Chaco to formally inaugurate the fellowship. Thank you.
Friends, there are many fellowships in Rotary. Music Loving Fellowship is one of the oldest fellowship in Rotary, and few music loving Rotarians from Coimbatore have decided to revive the fellowship, Music Loving Fellowship, and they are going to entertain us with wonderful songs. With your permission and blessings, I hereby inaugurate the Music Loving Fellowship of Rotary District 3201. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Governor. Let's have the first production from this group.
அதோ அந்த பறவை போல வாழ வேண்டும், இதோ இந்த அலைகள் போல ஆட வேண்டும். ஒரே வானிலே ஒரே மண்ணிலே, ஒரே வானிலே ஒரே மண்ணிலே, ஒரே உரிமை கீதம் பாடுவோம். அதோ அந்த பறவை போல வாழ வேண்டும், இதோ இந்த அலைகள் போல ஆட வேண்டும். ஒரே வானிலே ஒரே மண்ணிலே ஒரே கீதம் உரிமை கீதம் பாடுவோம். La 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 la. காற்று நம்மை அடிமை என்று விலகவில்லையே, கடல் நீரும் அடிமை என்று சுடுவதில்லையே, சுடுவதில்லையே. காலம் நம்மை விட்டு விட்டு நடப்பதில்லையே, காதல் பாசம் தாய்மை நம்மை மறப்பதில்லையே. ஒரே வானிலே ஒரே மண்ணிலே ஒரே கீதம் உரிமை கீதம் பாடுவோம். அதோ அந்த பறவை போல வாழ வேண்டும், இதோ இந்த அலைகள் போல ஆட வேண்டும். ஒரே வானிலே ஒரே மண்ணிலே ஒரே கீதம் உரிமை கீதம் பாடுவோம். La 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 la. கோடி மக்கள் சேர்ந்து வாழ வேண்டும் விடுதலை, கோயில் போல நாடு காண வேண்டும் விடுதலை, வேண்டும் விடுதலை. அச்சமின்றி ஆடி பாட வேண்டும் விடுதலை, அடிமை வாழும் பூமி எங்கும் வேண்டும் விடுதலை. ஒரே வானிலே ஒரே மண்ணிலே ஒரே கீதம் உரிமை கீதம் பாடுவோம்.
Well, that was wonderful. The team Coimbatore, we wish you all the best. I was particularly impressed, freedom to sing and dance. And I think that was the main statement there. Very emphatic, and I wish your career graph is the same as MGR's, goes higher and higher and higher. Taking cue from the motivation provided by past district Governor Rotarian Suresh Matthew, our beloved district governor will now lay out the action plan for this year with respect to membership development. Over to our beloved district governor.
Thank you, Dr. GN. Chief guest, Rotary International Secretary John Hugo, our beloved district trainer, past district governor Baby Joseph, past district governor Sunil Kesakriya, PDG Suresh Matthew, Assistant Coordinator Membership, most respected Council of Governors, District Governor-elect Rotarian Rajshekhar, DGN Rotarian Rajmohan, my colleagues from other districts, District Directors Rotarian Maruthi, Rotarian M.E. Thomas, Rotarian Mohan Kumar, and Rotarian Balgopal, DGS Rotarian E.M. Varghese, Even Chair Rotarian Sundara Vadivelu, District Membership Chair Rotarian Subramanian, Assistant Governors, GGRs, Host Club President Rotarian Mani, Ms. Nirmala from Toastmaster, DRR Rotarian Janani, members from Toastmasters, Rotractors, Presidents, Secretaries, aunts, annets, and guests. Indeed, I am so happy to share these fine moments with you all on the occasion of the inauguration of the Membership Development Week, Synergy Plus, from August 16 to 22nd. At the outset, let me congratulate the host club, Rotary Club of Coimbatore, President Rotarian Mani, District Chair, Membership Chair Rotarian Subramaniam, Even Chair Rotarian Advocate Sundara Vadivelu, and the entire club members of Rotary Club of Coimbatore for taking up this great initiative in organizing this mega event. We are delighted to have the presence of General Secretary and CEO of Rotary International, John Hucko, in our midst to inaugurate the membership drive week. Myself and my partner Rose cherish the memories when we all assembled at San Diego for the International Assembly. We had the good fortune to meet and to interact with Rotarian John and his gracious Aunt Marga, and to witness his highly motivating address and his organization skills in the International Assembly at San Diego in the month of January 2020. I extend a hearty and affectionate welcome to our Rotary District 3201. Friends, our organization, Rotary, is an international service organization whose stated purpose is to bring together business and professional leaders in order to provide humanitarian service and to advance goodwill and peace around the world. Please understand that Rotary is a non-political, non-religious organization and not-for-profit organization open to all. Rotary values diversity and celebrates the contributions of people of all backgrounds, regardless of their age, ethnicity, race, color, and abilities. My dear friends, the strength of our organization is our members. In order to grow Rotary and to grow the impact of the service projects, we need to grow in large numbers. Membership growth is the engine that provides the vehicle of Rotary. Growth of our members is important because new ideas and new interests reinvigorate the club, bringing new energy and future leaders. According to our international president, Holger Nack, we all agree that we need to grow Rotary, but sometimes we can get caught up in the numbers game and lose sight of bigger picture. After all, an increase in membership is meaningless if the next year those new members leave our clubs. Let's grow Rotary sustainably. We have to open to new approaches, and creating unique new clubs for younger people is just part of the solution. And he reminded all that there is no wrong age to become a Rotarian. Every age is welcome. Every age has something important to contribute. As we reach out to young Rotarians, we will not leave others behind. Friends, coming to our district 3201, it is one of the outstanding districts in India with 145 clubs and with a membership strength of 5,606 members with 445 women members as of 1st July 2020. We have 107 Rotary clubs, 72 Interact clubs in our district. In the current year, our goal is to achieve a net gain of 15% growth. We need to add 700 members with a retention rate of 95%. Our goal is to add 200 women, and below the age group of 40, we need to add another 100 members. Here, we have the confirmed membership figures from 4 zones. From Zone 1, Coimbatore, 291 with 70% growth. Congratulations to DD Maruti. And from Zone 2, Trichur Palakkad, we have confirmed membership growth of 162 with 19%. Congratulations to Emmy Thomas. From Zone 3, Muvatuvada, 286 with 17% growth. Congratulations to District Director Mohan Kumar. And from Zone 4, Cochin, 211 with 14% growth. Congratulations to District Director Balagopal. And all put together, we have 950 with an average growth rate of 18%. Friends, I'm extremely happy that the Toastmasters International 121 and the Rotary District 3201 have joined hands in the membership drive program. Toastmasters and Rotary partner to help members grow professionally and to make a difference in their communities. Members of the Toastmasters and Rotary will definitely enhance their skills, broaden their networks, and increase their positive impact in the community through new collaboration. As rightly said by our chief guest Rotarian John himself in one of his address, collaborating with Toastmasters will provide our members with even more opportunities to develop and improve their leadership and communication skills. In turn, members of the Toastmasters can connect with more people, take advantage of new speaking and learning opportunities, and make difference in their communities through Rotary. I congratulate all the Toastmasters who are attending this program. The doors of unlimited opportunities are opened in front of you. Friends, in the 2019 Council of Legislation, amended the constitutional documents of Rotary International to include Rotary Clubs as a membership type. This was a landmark decision by Rotary International, and Rotary International has set goals for Rotaract to increase the number of Rotaractors reported to Rotary by 100% by the year 2022. We need to encourage Rotaractors to join Rotary. We need to encourage Rotaract alumni to join Rotary, and we need to partner with them in our service projects and in Rotary meetings and events. Friends, please remember that Rotaractors can join a Rotary club while they are still active in Rotary clubs. They are also at liberty to start their own Rotary clubs. Congratulate and welcome all the Rotaractors participating in this program to Rotary Fraternity, where unlimited opportunities are awaiting you. We have with us several other prospective members from different walks of life, professionals, businessmen, women, and youngsters who have shown interest in joining our great movement, Rotary. I would like to congratulate all the participants, especially the prospective members, for taking the right decision to join one of the great service organizations, Rotary International, which has completed almost 115 years of humanitarian service around the world. The work which we have done to eradicate the most dreaded disease of polio from the face of earth is the classical example of our commitment to the mankind. Apart from that, we are also doing projects related to peace and conflict prevention, basic education and literacy, mother and child, disease prevention, growing economic and community development, water and sanitation, and environment. Friends, as our founder, Paul P. Harris, rightly said, this is a changing world. We must be prepared to change with it. The story of Rotary will have to be written again and again. Friends, I know you are all eagerly waiting to hear from our Secretary, Rotarian John Hucko. Friends, there is a team which worked for the last several days to plan and execute this mega event. District Trainer PDG Baby Joseph, PDG Sunil K. Zakaria, Dr. G.N. Ramesh, District Directors Maruthi M.E. Thomas, Mohan Kumar and Balagopal, DGS Rotarian E.M. Varghese, District Membership Committee Chair Rotarian Subramaniam, Event Chair Rotarian Sundara Vadivelu, President Rotarian Mani and members of Rotary Club of Coimbatore, Assistant Governors GGS, Event Coordinator Rotarian Arabanth, Presidents and Secretaries and Membership Committee Chairs. I express my deep sense of gratitude to each one of you. Friends, let us have a joint effort. I am confident that together we can and we will reach the goals. Thank you and have a great evening. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Governor. That is very well said. In fact, the figures are so encouraging, and I hope the dreams become real in due course of time. And I think the one statement of our beloved RI President that stands out is, let's grow Rotary sustainably. And that's a wonderful statement to make. Well, our Governor has put into perspective whatever dreams, whatever the action plan is for the rest of the year, and it is for us to fulfill and make sure that everything is done. We now have a short break for another musical interlude, and that's the second production from the newly constituted Fellowship of Music-Loving Rotarians from Coimbatore. They've sent in a wonderful video, which I thought has to be played for the benefit of all the Rotarians and all those who aspire to join this particular organization called Rotary. Over to the Fellowship of Music-Loving Rotarians of Coimbatore for their second production.
நினைக்கும் வேளையிலே ஊரும் மாறும் தூங்கும் போது பூவும் நிலவும் சாயும் போது கொலுசை சத்தம் மனசை திருடியதே கொண்டையிலே பயிரின் சிறு வேளையிலே கொலுசு சத்தம் மனசை திருடியதே சிங்கிரவன் கொண்டையிலே சிங்களடிக்கும் வேளையிலே பலவி சத்தம் இதயம் திருடியதே
சீரவாஞ்சி கொண்டையிலே செழிவடைக்கும் வேளையிலே பருவ போன்ற திருடி தழுவ செங்கலை சங்கல்வங்களே செஞ்சு கொலுசு நெஞ்சு திருடியதோ
தங்கத்தெருப்புத்தார கனிவான காலுக்கு அவலங்கள் தார பால் போன்ற பல்லுக்கு சஞ்சாரங்கள் தார முன்கோவல் சொல்லுக்கு கொண்டையிலே பயிரின் சிறு வேளையிலே கொலுசு சத்தம் மனசை திருடியதே வீரவாசி கொண்டையிலே சிங்களடிக்கும் வேளையிலே பலவி சத்தம் இதயம் திருடியதே
That was very well done. I know Ravichandran, Satish, Chella, Lakshman, and the rest of the team, great performance, and looking forward to more such performances from you. Well, it's now time to welcome our chief guest to our midst. Chief guest for this function, General Secretary, Rotary International, Rotarian John Luco. And we will welcome him in a very traditional way, something that we in Tamil Nadu and Kerala are known for the world over. Welcome, Rotarian John Luco, very traditional. Stand by for this welcome. Now to formally introduce our chief guest, may I request District Trainer, past District Governor Advocate Baby Joseph. And this will be followed by the Rotary Anthem and the address by the chief guest himself. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Gian. Mr. Governor, esteemed friends in Rotary, it is indeed a rare honor for all of us to listen to a very renowned speaker on this evening. And I consider it as my rarest honor to introduce the versatile personality whom we are going to listen to. He is a scholar who holds a law degree from Harvard, a master's in modern history from Oxford University, and a bachelor's in government and Soviet studies from Hamilton College in Clinton, New York. He speaks 4 languages besides English, Portuguese, Russian, Spanish, and Ukrainian. Also a public scholar at the Woodrow Wilson International Center for Scholars, and he has published papers and articles in leading US and international publications, and has spoken extensively on political and business issues dealing with former Soviet Union, Central Europe, Africa, and Latin America. He was an international partner with the law firm Baker and McKenzie, specializing in international corporate transactions in emerging markets. He lived and had worked as an attorney in Brazil and Argentina. He assisted the working group that prepared the initial draft of the new Ukrainian post-Soviet constitution. From 2004 to 2009, he was vice president for operations and development for the Millennium Challenge Corporation, a US government agency established in 2004. At MCC, he was the principal US negotiator for foreign assistance agreements to 26 countries world over. Currently, the General Secretary and CEO of Rotary International, the world's largest service and humanitarian organization, and of its foundation, the Rotary Foundation. He oversees the operations of both entities and manages operating budget of over 450 million US dollars and assets of more than 1 billion US dollars. He manages Rotary's relationship with the strategic partners and governments and leads a staff of almost 800 Rotary world over headquarters in Evanston and in 7 other states outside US. He and his wife Margarita live in Evanston and are major donors to the Rotary Foundation. He is also a member of the Council on Foreign Relations and sits on the Planning Commission for the city of Evanston, Illinois. He is none other than Sri John Hugo, the General Secretary and CEO of Rotary International and the TRO. Friends and leaders, put your hands together and welcome Rotary International General Secretary John Hugo. Over to you, sir.
Well, we stand by for the Rotary anthem and then followed by the address by our chief guest. Okay. We'll continue with that, with your address, sir. Over to you, sir, for your address. A technical hitch.
Well,
Sir,
thank you.
Are you able to hear us, sir?
Yes, I was not able to unmute myself, but I was unmuted by someone, so thank you for unmuting me. Thanks so much for the invitation to be here, to Governor Jose and Rose, and I'm delighted to be here for this District 3201 Membership Week celebration. You have a great district, a great Rotary district, and it's a real honor to be able to address you today. I thought what I would do is perhaps provide you with just a brief overview of where we stand as an organization today globally, to give you a global perspective on where Rotary stands, where we are on some of the key issues that we are confronting as an organization, and then share my thoughts with you on membership and where I think we need to head as an organization on the membership front, as well as some of the opportunities this crisis that we're living through affords us as an organization. First of all, let me just again say that it's really great honor and privilege to be your General Secretary. One of my primary obligations and roles in Rotary as the General Secretary, as was mentioned during the introduction, was to oversee the Rotary professional staff, the Secretariat. As you know, our world headquarters are here in Evanston, Illinois, from where I'm speaking. We have around 550 employees here at Evanston, and then another over 200 employees in our 7 offices outside of the United States, including our office in Delhi, which obviously supports the Rotarians in your district. We have over 40 employees there, and they do a fantastic job of supporting Rotarians in Southeast Asia. And it became very clear to me back in January when this virus was beginning to appear in China and other countries that this pandemic, this virus was going to spread through the globe, and that at some point Rotary would need to move to a virtual online mode of operation. And so back in January, I established a COVID disaster response committee or task force to really look at and make sure that that both the Secretariat and Rotary was fully prepared to move to this new reality in the event that we had to. So we took the months of January and February to prepare, to look at all our systems. I sent the entire Secretariat home for a day to practice, to see what it would be like if we had everybody working virtually. And I'm glad we did. We were able to get a lot of the kinks and a lot of the bugs out of the system. And on March 12th, we moved to full work at home status for the entire Secretariat around the world. And so I'm pleased to say that transition went very, very smoothly. And today, as I speak, the Secretariat continues to support Rotarians around the world, as we did prior to the lockdown, prior to going to this online regime. In fact, in some areas, we're actually working even harder and working more, given that we've had to adapt in a number of ways to this new reality of One example being the convention. We, of course, had to cancel our convention in Honolulu and quickly pivot, very quickly pivot to creating an online virtual convention, which was extraordinarily successful. We had over 60,000 Rotarians register, over 1 million impressions, tens and thousands of people participating in the various breakout sessions. Again, a huge success, but then again, an example of how quickly we had to pivot. So as we speak today, I want to assure you that from an operational perspective, Rotary International, good shape, and we continue to support and work with the Rotarians as we did prior to this crisis. Now I get a lot of questions from Rotarians as I participate in these online forums. What happened to our global membership? What's going to happen? Obviously, the world is living through an extraordinary difficult time. And I like to manage by data, not by anecdote or impression or guesswork. And we're very fortunate to have on staff a PhD statistician. And I asked him to take a look at the last 115 years of Rotary membership data and sort of give us an idea of what had happened historically, but also using all that data to model out statistically where we think membership will be headed in the future. And what's interesting is if you look back at the last 115 years of Rotary, there's only been 1 year, and that was 2 years after the Great Depression ended in the 30s, where we saw a significant drop in membership, and that was a little over 5%. In all of the other great crises that the world has faced, whether it be the 1918 pandemic, the world wars, financial crises, the drop in membership, to the extent there has been one, was in the range of 1% to 2%. In fact, during the last crisis in 2007, 2008, we saw a drop in membership of under 1%. And so we have to remember that a 1% drop in membership in Rotary represents an $800,000 loss in revenue to Rotary International. And so even if we were to see a 5% drop in membership, which has only happened once in our history, that represents about a $4 million loss in revenue. And Rotary's senior leaders through the years, the Rotary leadership has been very prudent with our money, very prudent in building up adequate reserves. Rotary International has reserves of over 70 million. The Rotary Foundation also has very significant reserves. So even if we were to suffer a 5% decline in membership, again, which has only happened once, we have more than adequate reserves to cover any shortfall. And now projecting out, what does the statistical modeling show? And again, with 95% probability, and again, past performance is no guarantee of the future, but if we look at 115 years worth of data, we can anticipate that over the next 4 or 5 years, we would see membership fluctuate in a band of either increasing by 1 or 2% or decreasing between 1 and 2%, somewhere along that band. So we are both operationally very strong as an organization as we stand today, and we're also financially very, very strong. We just got the start figures for July 1 numbers for worldwide membership. It's at 1,174,000. That's a drop of around 14,000 from last year, so a little over a 1% drop in membership. And the vast majority of that membership decrease is happening in the United States, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and Australia. And so, and of course, the losses there are being balanced off by growth in places such as India, Africa, many of the emerging markets. I think your region, your part of the world needs to be congratulated for really an outstanding job in terms of membership growth and membership retention. So we're operationally very strong, and we are also financially in very good shape as we weather this terrible COVID crisis. Now, a lot of questions on how has Rotary responded globally to the COVID crisis. And here I think each of us as Rotarians can be extraordinarily proud of what we have done. The Rotary Foundation trustees, shortly after the crisis began, put in place a COVID disaster response fund. Each district was able to apply for a grant of up to $25,000 in order to immediately move money to address COVID-related needs. I very much hope that your district applied and was able to receive a COVID disaster response grant. More than $7 million worth of grants have been now given to the districts out of that response fund. And in addition, we have approved over $20 million worth of global grants that are COVID related. And so if you take the global grants plus the disaster response funds that have been spent on COVID globally, we have moved close to $29 million in the span of a few short months for COVID-related activities. And that, of course, doesn't even begin to address the extraordinary work that's being done locally, all throughout the world, including in your district. The stories I'm hearing of the amount of money raised, food, PPE, shelter, transportation. I mean, the work that Rotarians have done locally and the amount of funds and goods that have been raised is absolutely extraordinary. And so what we've done on the global and the international level is really just a drop in the sea of tremendous work being done by Rotarians everywhere around the world. So I think as an organization, we can be extraordinarily proud of how we have stepped up and really made a difference in this very, very difficult time of the COVID-19 pandemic. A lot of questions on polio. What's going to happen with polio, given that we're now in many countries in a lockdown mode? And yes, we did have to suspend many of our polio vaccination efforts. As you're aware, we're down to just two countries where the wild polio virus is endemic, and that's Afghanistan and Pakistan. We currently have around 63 cases in Pakistan and 34 in Afghanistan, 97 total. We had 176 cases of wild polio last year. So we're still under last year's number, but obviously we were expecting a slight uptick given that the vaccination campaigns had to be suspended due to social distancing norms. But what is interesting is that we have been able, while the suspension was going on for vaccination, although surveillance continued, et cetera, we were able to repurpose in many countries the polio infrastructure to work on COVID-related activities, very similar to what had happened in West Africa several years ago when we had the Ebola outbreak, where the polio infrastructure was very successfully redeployed to help stop the spread of Ebola, particularly in countries such as Nigeria. Now, some of the polio vaccination campaigns are beginning to reinstate and beginning to beginning to happen again slowly, starting in July, and that's very, very positive news. One other piece of positive news is in August, this month, we will be certifying Africa as free of the wild polio virus. And that's a huge achievement, again, that all of us can be proud of. So Rotary will be recognizing that milestone this month with a very significant public relations campaign. Having said that, we still need to continue to raise money for polio. With the 2-to-1 match with the Gates Foundation continues in force. And so even though we are going through some very, very difficult times, we need to continue to redouble our efforts to make sure that we raise and spend that $50 million this calendar year so that we can receive that $100 million match from the Gates Foundation. And that's going to be extremely important once we come out of this COVID crisis, because there's a little bit of catch-up work that's going to need to be done in the vaccination efforts and other activities related to polio. So my plea to each and every Rotarian around the world is to continue, as we have for many years now, to passionately support this polio eradication efforts so we can get across the finish line so that we can eradicate this disease. And in my view, certainly the Global Polio Eradication Initiative, of which Rotary is, of course, the founding member, really deserves the Nobel Prize for our work in eradicating this disease. So that's just some highlights of where I think we stand globally on a number of key critical issues that we're undertaking as an organization. Now, there's no question that we are living through an extraordinarily difficult time. No question about that. And people are suffering and obviously tremendous death and other things that are happening. However, very often, in a crisis, among that wall of dark clouds, one can begin to see a few white clouds, a small silver lining. And I think from a global perspective, this crisis offers us as an organization an extraordinary opportunity to change in a positive way. We've been trying for many years to get Rotarians to embrace technology. We've tried to be innovative, to think out of the box, to try to do things slightly differently. And we're an organization that has some deep traditions, excellent traditions, good traditions for good reason. But what this crisis did is it forced the entire Rotary world in a 2-week period to move basically to a new way of operating, this online regime. And so for me, we're in some ways at a crossroads, and we're at an opportunity to really begin to take our organization in a new and hopefully better direction. You know, as I said, our membership has been, flat at around 1.2 million now for over 20 years. And the only reason we've been able to stay flat is frankly because of growth in your part of the world, and in Africa and in other parts of Asia. We're seeing significant membership declines, as I mentioned earlier, in the United States, Canada, UK, Australia, New Zealand, Japan had seen some as well. We need to grow Rotary everywhere. And so for me, the challenge, again, I'm giving you a global perspective, and it differs from country to country and from region to region. And I suspect within India, you've got different membership challenges in different parts of your country. But for me, we're selling a product to the marketplace. We're not selling soap. We're not selling bleach. We're selling a club experience. The experience you get, you buy the experience you get by joining a Rotary Club, and you pay for that experience with money, and you pay with your time and with your energy. And we're finding in some parts of the world, particularly in yours, people are finding the product attractive, and they're buying it and they're keeping it. In other parts of the world, we're finding that is not the case. And so from a global perspective, in my view, we need to begin to really regionalize our approach. And in those countries, or in those regions, or in those districts where membership is flat or not growing, we need to step back and reevaluate our product and change our product, because the marketplace isn't going to change for us. We're going to need to change for the marketplace. And so in those areas where the traditional club model is working, clubs are growing, they're vibrant, they're doing great projects, carry on. No need to change everything. But if your club is struggling, or if your district is struggling, or if your region is struggling, I think it's time to really step back and rethink our product. Now, again, what can never change are our values, our core values, the 4-way test, the focus on ethics, vocational service, all of that. Those are bedrock. Those are in our DNA. Those are bedrock principles that can never change. But meeting frequency, format of meetings, how we run our meetings, those aren't values. Those are just mechanisms we use to deliver our values. And those can change if they need to. And I know I may be saying things that may sound heretical to some people, but there is no Rotary police. There is no Rotary police. In those areas of the world where membership is struggling, one of the reasons is they tend to get bogged down in the rules. Rather than focusing on the quality of the product they're offering, they're focused on the minutia and on the rules. And it's, you don't want to cut off your nose to spite your face. And so again, if the traditional model is working, by all means, carry on. It's been very successful for a long time. But if it isn't, we need to step back. We need to rethink our product, and we need to think out of the box, not get bogged down in the rules. And in some places, do a whiteboard exercise and say, what kind of product is going to be interesting for the kind of demographic that we're trying to achieve. There was one club in the United States that did a very interesting exercise. They were struggling with membership. And so they called a meeting of 200 leaders in the community. And they had a coffee, and food was available, and they had a whiteboard. And the moderator got up there and said, okay, if you were to join a Rotary Club, what were the characteristics, and how would you like that club to operate, and what would you like that club to do? And they spent 2 hours discussing with that group of people, and the moderator was writing everything down on the board. And when they were finished, he then said, okay, how many of you would join a club with these characteristics? And just about everybody in the room put their hands up. And he said, okay, we now just have our new club constitution. Now, whether all the rules in Rotary were followed or not, it didn't matter. This was a club, this was a product that group of people, community leaders in that town, would find interesting. And that's what's really, really important. And so I'm saying this not because these are issues necessarily that you're facing in India or in District 3201, but they are issues that we're facing in significant parts of the country. And as an organization, we're moving now in this direction of growing Rotary through the creation of new, innovative club models. In many parts of the world, we spend too much time trying to save dying clubs. And rather than putting good money after bad, if the clubs aren't willing to change or adapt or are comfortable being in this slow deathward spiral, no problem. Let's then establish new clubs with new innovative ideas, new ways of doing things that are going to be attractive to the marketplace that we are trying to penetrate. So let me just perhaps close with 6 concrete calls to action that as I go around the Rotary world virtually, I'm urging Rotarians to focus on in this difficult time of COVID. Number 1, Rotaract. We are currently as an organization really attempting to elevate Rotaract. Rotaract clubs are now members of the Association of Rotary Clubs. Rotaractors are not Rotarians. They can be both Rotaractors and Rotarians at the same time. They can join a Rotaract and a Rotary Club at the same time. But we're now really trying to elevate Rotaractors as sort of equal partners in Rotary. You know, historically, worldwide, over 90% of Rotaractors do not become Rotarians. And again, that differs from region to region and country to country. But globally, the vast majority of Rotaractors do not become Rotarians. And in my view, that's a tragedy. These are young men and women who are passionate about Rotary. They believe in our values. You don't have to convince them about anything. And yet, for some reason, the vast majority of them do not become Rotarians. So we need to, as an organization, to begin to facilitate that glide path between Rotaract and Rotary, really strengthening those bonds. And that's where this COVID crisis and the fact that most of us are operating in an online regime is a great opportunity, because Rotaractors live in this space. They're comfortable in this space. They know this space. This is an opportunity to really both make our organization more attractive to them, but also to utilize their skills and their resources and their talents to help us navigate this virtual reality that we're now living in. Rotaractors can now have district-wide office, it can be district-wide, hold district-wide office positions. You can make them chairs or co-chairs of your district conference, put them on district committees. I mean, this is a golden opportunity to really, really begin to strengthen our ties between Rotaract and Rotary, to really elevate Rotaractors and to help facilitate that transition from Rotaract to Rotary. And let's see, instead of over 90% of Rotaractors not becoming Rotarians, let's see if we can get 90% of Rotaractors to become Rotarians. That's point number 1. Number 2, member retention. We need to make sure that we come out of this crisis at least as strong as we were going into it. And that's going to mean focusing very much on retaining our current membership. Because attracting new members is going to be more difficult now in this new virtual lockdown environment, at least in the short and medium term. And so let's figure out, you know, how are we going to retain our current membership? Now, if we look globally, the statistics are quite clear. On a global level, and I suspect it's also true here, the longer one is in Rotary, the less likely you are to leave. And the real danger spot for people leaving Rotary is between their 2nd and 3rd year of membership. Statistically, that's the highest, that's the most probable point in which someone would leave Rotary. And so let's really focus on member retention, but particularly I would suggest on those who are newer to Rotary, because those are the members that statistically at least have the greatest probability of leaving our organization. Number 3, most of the projects that we do require people to physically get together to do stuff. Well, that's going to be difficult in the medium and near and medium term. So how are we going to do our projects and continue to make a difference in this new virtual environment where our movements are limited? And here we need to unleash the creativity of our 1.2 million Rotarians to really think through how are we going to be doing our projects. And here I think, again, the Rotaractors who are very good in this space can offer some great suggestions and can be great partners in helping us figure this problem out. Number 4, just as with our projects, we need to become more creative. We need to do the same with fundraising. How are we going to continue to raise funds, whether it's for polio or anything, in this new online environment? Most of our fundraising efforts around the world tend to be in-person events. Dinners, banquets, walkathons, bikeathons, et cetera, et cetera. Well, those are not going to be possible now, at least in the medium and short term. So how are we going to continue raising money? Because the needs don't stop. The world hasn't stopped. The problems of the world haven't gone away while we try to figure out this COVID crisis. And so we need to really put our creative thinking caps on to figure out how we're going to raise money in this new environment. For me, the gold standard, if you recall, there was this ALS ice bucket challenge several years ago where people all around the world were dumping ice all over each other. And they raised hundreds of millions of dollars for ALS. And it cost them zero, nothing. It cost them absolutely nothing to do that. What's going to be our next ALS ice bucket challenge fundraising tool? And that's again where the Rotaractors can really help us. They are very clever. They know this space. Let's unleash the creativity of our Rotarians and Rotaractors to see if we can come up with some really creative ways to fundraise. 5, we see, or anecdotally, we're seeing that clubs are perhaps more connected than ever. I don't know, I don't know how many people are participating in this meeting, but I suspect several hundred. I've been on Zoom meetings with over 1,000 people and another several thousand watching on Facebook Live. We had, again, 65,000 people register for our convention, or a little over 60,000 our virtual convention. So in some ways, we're more connected than we ever have been in this new environment. But I also suspect that there are a lot of clubs that are not meeting. And if clubs go 2, 3, 4 months without meeting, very high probability that those clubs are going to disappear. Can really help us here in terms of being a resource and a tool for clubs that are struggling with their to kind of hold interesting meetings and to operate in this new environment. So we really need to not only retain our membership, but we really need to really help those clubs that aren't meeting, because if they're not meeting, there's a high probability they're going to be gone by the time this crisis ends. And finally, let me just close by saying the sky is not falling for Rotary. As I said, we are on very solid ground, both operationally and financially, again, from a global perspective. In fact, I would argue that the world needs Rotary now more than ever. You know, in some ways, you know, we have no organization, or very few have the deep community roots that we have in almost every community in the world. I like to say there's not a politician in the world who doesn't have a Rotarian as a constituent. The world needs Rotary now more than ever. In fact, I would argue we were built for moments like this. This is our moment. This is our historic moment. Just as we have stepped up in the past, we have been and will continue to step up and to truly make a difference, to utilize this extraordinary platform we have, this extraordinary organization we have. 1.2 million members in over 200 locations and countries. This is our moment. This is our historic moment to make a difference. The world needs Rotary now more than ever. And so thank you so much, Governor Jose, for having me here. I'm delighted to be here. I wish all of you all the best in District 3201. Again, the Secretary, we're here to support you, to support your efforts. Thank you for all that you do. We will get through this crisis. We will be stronger than ever. Let's use this moment not only to make a difference, but to really try to change our organization in a positive way going forward for the next 2 or 3 decades. So thanks so much again for having me, and all the best to all the Rotarians in District 3201.
General Secretary John Hugo, it was to your speech and the concluding part, the closing remark when you said, world needs Rotary now more than ever. And you also spoke about the white clouds amongst the dark clouds and Rotary embracing technology. Could you explain to us how the board works now? The staff is working from home, General Secretary is in Evanston, President is in Germany, President-elect is in India, President nominee is in Canada. How does the board meet? How does the Rotary International now work?
Yeah, we again, just as just as you are meeting virtually and holding virtual meetings, we're doing the same. The board, the Rotary International, Rotary Foundation trustees, we have virtual board meetings. We vote electronically like we used to before at our meetings. We have agendas. We have materials put up on the screen. It's worked very seamlessly. It's worked very, very well. And in fact, if anything, now it's so easy to hold meetings that and sometimes we almost feel there's almost too many meetings. So the board, the trustees, all the committees are really as connected as they ever were. In fact, even more so. For example, every other week, I have a meeting with currently now with Shaker and with Holger, and we'll add Jennifer Jones to that call when she's officially named in October. Holger is, and Shaker, when I talk to them, they start in the morning in one part of the world and they end in the evening speaking to another part of the world. And so in some ways, I think Holger and Shaker are probably going to be the most, in the history of Rotary, who had the most contact, not physical, but have had with Rotary. I mean, they are able to hold speeches and attend events and motivate Rotarians with the click of a button, sitting from their seats at home. Holger, Shaker now, for example, is having meetings in all the languages with all the DGE groups around the world. Well, if he had to physically travel and do all of that, it would be almost impossible. So the board and the trustees are operating as they were before. In fact, even more engaged, I would say more active than they used to be. And they're able to actually reach Rotarians with messaging, with inspiration, much more obviously than they were able to before, because there's not this need to travel, and you can, with the click of a button, reach so many Rotarians. And similarly, as I said, the Secretariat is working at full speed. In fact, in some areas are working harder than ever, because we now need to adapt our training, a lot of our materials to this new online form. And of course, we all can't wait to get back to normal life. But I suspect that as we come out of this crisis, there'll be a lot more hybrid clubs. And I think we're going to be able to have a lot more cost savings at the Rotary International level, because whereas before we used to have a lot of the in-person meetings and a lot of travel, I think we'll be able to significantly decrease that going forward, because we've now seen that we can effectively reach Rotarians and work and operate as a board and as a trustees and as a secretariat in this new online environment.
So a lot of takeaways there. Sir, you also spoke about that Rotary Club in the United States, which experimented with the whiteboard. New models of clubs is something President Holger keeps on talking at every forum. Are these new models of clubs and new types of membership really working?
They are working. They are working. And if they don't, that's fine too. We need to let 1,000 flowers bloom. We need to sow 1,000 seeds, and we'll see which ones bloom. Not every one of them will succeed. But what I do know is that what Einstein had, that famous definition of, I think it was insanity. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different results. And what we've done very often in those parts of the world that are struggling with membership, or in those regions where the traditional club model is not working, is try to keep doing the same thing over and over again and somehow expecting a different results. It's sort of like when Kodak, when the world was going digital, and Kodak focused on film, and they focused on how do we better package our film? How do we really convince people that film is the way to go? Film was so good for so many years, we just need to tweak it. We just need to repackage it. Meanwhile, the world is moving in the digital direction, and the next thing we know, an iconic American company went bankrupt. And again, this is not a universal problem in Rotary, but it is a problem in many critical Rotary countries. So yes, those new club models in many cases are working, and in some cases they don't. But okay, there's a very famous Canadian ice hockey player, Wayne Gretzky, the best player that ever played ice hockey, who said, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And so we need to shoot to score. And I think a lot of these models are bearing fruit. For example, these passport clubs are becoming extremely popular. They started in California, in Silicon Valley. And the way a passport club works, and there's different variations on these passport clubs, but they're becoming very popular. The passport club, they only have 6 meetings a year. They meet 6 times a year, once every other month. And every other month they have a social. So they're really only meeting 12 times a year. So you have an obligation to go to 6 meetings, 6 socials. And in addition, you have to either contribute $1,000 to the Rotary Foundation or do 40 hours of service on projects with 1 or more clubs in your district. And it's called a passport club because you can do 10 hours with 4 clubs, you can do 40 hours with 1 club, you can do 4 hours, you can split your 40 hours among as many clubs as you like. And if you happen to find one of the traditional clubs you've done projects with, you can join that club or you can continue being a passport club member. Well, that club went to like 125 or 150 members in 2 years. Now, they don't comply with all the rules, but they attracted 150 people who wanted to join Rotary to do good in the world and to have great fellowship and networking. And that's a model that worked for them. There was another club that in the United States where mothers, it happened to be mothers, but they didn't need to be. It was mothers with small children, wanted to be Rotarians, but they didn't have a place to leave their kids to go to meetings every week. So they set up a club where they capped the membership at 25, and they now have a huge waiting list. And what the members of the club do is they rotate their meetings among their homes, members' homes, and you can bring your kids. Well, that club has a huge waiting list now because there's a market, a niche for, in this case, mothers who are home with small children who want to be Rotarians, but needed a meeting format and a club format that suited their needs. So again, there's no right or wrong answer here, and it's going to differ. Whether any of these models would work in your district, I don't know. But this is where we need to be creative. We need to unleash ourselves from the rules and begin thinking of how can we create products that people find interesting and want to join us. And again, if the traditional model works, fantastic, carry on. But let's not throw good money after bad. And if we see that the model is struggling in some parts of the world, well, let's change it. Because the world's not going to change for us. We're going to need to change for the world. Of course, we've always had e-clubs. And I've always enjoyed meeting with e-clubs because they have members from all over the world, and they were doing this long before COVID happened. So yes, there's a lot of models out there. Our job in Rotary is to highlight those models, and we do in the Rotary magazine every month, new club models and new ways of doing things. Now's the time to experiment. Now's the time to think out of the box.
So very exciting new models, John. Thank you for explaining that. I just have time for one last question. We are joined in this meeting by Rotaractors and Toastmasters International members. You have mentioned at length about what Rotary and Rotaract can do. What about our partnership with Toastmasters? What does it hold for Rotary and Toastmasters?
I mean, we're very excited about our partnership with Toastmasters. What we're currently doing is Toastmasters, as part of our partnership, is developing a series of learning modules on leadership and training and speaking skills, etc. The first couple of modules have already been developed. They're online, and they're really they're focused on Rotaractors and skills development and leadership development and talent development for Rotaractors. And they'll be developing and are developing additional training modules for us. And so it's we're paying Toastmasters to do that, and they've done a fantastic job. We've been very pleased with the modules they've developed so far. And in addition, we're very much hoping that this partnership will result in real synergies between our organization. Now, my wife Marga is a member of Chicago One, Rotary Club One, Chicago, and she is the president-elect of that club. And so she joined the Toastmasters Club. She wanted to improve her public speaking skills and sort of her leadership skills. And so she's also a member of a Toastmasters Club, and she loves it. And she's found that it's been extraordinarily helpful in terms of not only expanding to a new group of friends, but also to really work on her public speaking skills and really help prepare her for her year as president of the Chicago One club. So we're really excited about the Toastmasters relationship. I'm delighted that Toastmasters are participating on this call. And again, similarly, we very much hope Toastmasters would also become involved with Rotary clubs and bring to their personal experience things that the Toastmaster experience does not. So thank you for that question, because it's a very important partnership for us, and I'm delighted again that Toastmasters are on this session as well.
That's great news, General Secretary. On that positive note, I hand you back to the Master of Ceremonies, Rotarian Dr. G.N. Ramesh.
Thank you very much, Sunil. Thank you very much, John. I think the crux of the matter was think outside the box. Think different, think new. I think we have to come out with new ideas. Thank you very much. That was a wonderful session, and I must thank PDG Sunil for having taken it through to its natural end. Okay, we now quickly move on to another interactive session, and we have an eminent panel with us. We'll be discussing almost the same thing, but that is related to our district. One new thought, one new idea. And I have a panel of 5 distinguished members. First of all, PDG K.S. Pillai sir, very senior person, very knowledgeable Rotarian. I think I would like to ask you, please tell us about a couple of great ideas for membership development for our district for the coming time, 1 year or 2 years. Over to you, sir. Looking forward to your thoughts. K.S. Pillai, sir, are you?
Respected RI General Secretary, respected Council of Governors, and all the delegates of Synergy Plus. Let me say at the outset, see, in our district, we have got 5 revenue districts, and the overall population will be about 55 lakhs or 60 lakhs. Our 5,600 Rotarians constitute just 0.1% of that population. So all these years, we have not been able to get the 99.9% of the people we have not touched. So the responsibility for increasing the membership has to be on every Rotarian in every club. So I feel that each club must develop a membership team consisting of 7 members in each team. For example, with a 50-member club, it will have 7 membership teams. Each team will be having 1 team leader and a WhatsApp group also. The selection of members in each group will be done through random sampling. Every member of the club will have equal opportunity of being included in any group. So entire club will be involved in the membership development and getting new members. Complete the formation of the group by the 3rd week of August every year, the same. And every team has to identify at least 2 prospects under the age of 40. 1 preferably should be a woman. Once a team member identifies a prospect, he has to immediately share that detail with the other members in the group. Exchange complete details and also get their feedback on that particular member. Arrive at a consensus and select the 2 prospects by the middle of September. And then make a preliminary visit to those 2 people and present all your Rotary materials which you feel will be of great use about your projects, about Rotary International, all whatever literature is. Please make that meeting very productive. And you see, now how to select the people, you may be wondering. You see, you must take people who are willing to join a movement which is service above self, aiming at that. So they must be able to meet the financial obligations of our Rotary Club, must be service-minded, and they must be men of good character. And Rotary has got a nice definition for character: integrity plus altruism, concern for the others. Both these individuals must have. And such people, I am very sure you will be able to locate each group of 7 persons will be able to locate 2 people from the 99.9% in the community, which you already left. And meet the prospects in the 3rd week of September, preferably by 2 or more people in the team. Explain in detail the Rotary Club and Rotary International further. Complete details explain the need of service projects in the community and the concept of service above self. Make an objective assessment about the response by the prospect, and then you go ahead with further proposal.
Okay, thank you very much.
Finalize the prospect by the end of September. Invite the prospect all regular meetings and invite him to give some talk about his profession to the club, and all fellows fire state meetings invite him and make him as though he is a member of the club, and then make an overall assessment of the interest of the prospects. Ask him whether he would be able to join the club. Make a formal proposal to the club once you get his assent. For the next 6 months, see, most probably by October, you should be able to induct him. For the next 6 months, 1 or 2 members of the team must be always with him, and he must be involved in some project or other, and he should be a part. And some of the projects of his choice must also be taken by the club. Then in this 7-member team must ensure these 2 people are comfortable in the club. Mind you, every member of the club is in one membership team or other. And this thing can be changed every year. So all 5,000 Rotarians will be members of membership.
Great.
This is my proposal for
great idea.
I
Wonderful.
think then we will be having about 700 groups, 700 teams in our entire district. Each team, 2 members means 1,400 members we will be having.
Wonderful.
Thank you very much.
Good, lovely action plan, and I think it's quite practical. My next question is to the District Governor-elect, Rajshekhar. You are a master of online platforms, and I know you've involved yourself in a lot of e-clubs. What do you see the role of e-clubs and hybrid clubs in membership development? Over to you, Raj.
Thank you. Thank you, Jian. Very good evening to you all. It was the famous French poet Victor Hugo who said, "Nothing is more powerful than an idea whose time has come." The idea of e-clubs was mooted in 2001, and the first e-club was chartered in January 4, 2002, with our members from 13 countries. And it was even though it was a part of an initial pilot project, among the 14, there were only 14 clubs initially. RA expected, and the Rotary International was concerned that there would be a rush for forming Rotary e-clubs. And once this was approved in the COL of 2010. But this didn't happen. Their fears proved unfounded. And in fact, the fears were so much that there was a cap of 2 e-clubs per district. There was even a cap. And this was because there were not many clubs coming. This was removed in 2013. And in 2016, again, subsequently, the distinction between traditional club and e-club was abolished. 5 months back, none of us would have heard of, at least most of us would not have heard of the Zoom, Google Rooms, GeoMeet, Microsoft, WebEx and all that. But today, the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic has forced all of us to go meet virtually. In fact, I would say this COVID-19 has fast-forwarded Rotary by at least 10 to 15 years, and all our clubs seem to have become e-clubs. The advent of fast internet connections and, of course, the easier accessibility of communication equipment has made this possible. And to paraphrase the famous Victor Hugo, I would say, the time of Rotary e-clubs has indeed come. Now we find that this is a very convenient way of meeting virtually. And of course, we miss the physical meetings and the fantastic fellowship we generally share among ourselves. And once the life comes back to a semblance of normalcy, once this pandemic ends, and just as our General Secretary John Huko had pointed out, I'm quite sure that many clubs will become hybrid clubs with judicious mix of virtual and physical meetings. This should happen. And this can only help in improving the membership. Attendance will definitely improve, and that will definitely help us improve our membership also. And given the pace and the nature of work of the millennial generation, who are the youth of today, we can expect many youth clubs to emerge. And we Rotarians have proved that technology or the platform is only enabler, nothing more. The most important factor is the commitment and involvement of all the Rotarians in meetings and activities.
I agree.
E-clubs and hybrid clubs are indeed the future. They definitely help Rotary grow and serve the society better. Thank you.
Very strong. Very strong future for e-clubs and hybrid clubs. I now go on to District Governor nominee Rajmohan Nair. Our chief guest mentioned something about retention, and those were alarming figures that he mentioned. What are your ideas about membership retention in our district? One or two ideas. Over to you, Rajmohan. Do we have Rajmohan online? DG and Rajmohan Nair?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes. Yeah, Dr. GN, retention is the major problem that's been haunting Rotary for the past many years now. It's now about getting new members for Rotary, but rather retaining our members is the biggest challenge in Rotary clubs today. See, we have plenty of spectacular projects and programs in the club, but actually, how many people are involved in that? I can say it is less than 50% of the club population who gets involved in it. And that makes the remaining 50% less active and eventually drop out of the club. And because of this, I strongly believe each club need a club engagement committee and who could always identify this 50% and understand on how they can be brought to the spotlight and be involved in our projects. And that should resolve a lot of issues in retaining problem. During these challenging COVID days, now all of us Rotarians, including today, are not physically meeting, but rather all our Rotary meetings have become in virtual media. And this has resulted in more members being less active or interested, especially the elder generation or the elder population of Rotary, which is very understandable. Instead of large gathering, now it is not possible. We could shift towards small group gathering like a fireside, which could be just 4 or 5 Rotarians at one of our homes, thereby promoting effective Rotary discussions and fund engagement. And of course, this should be done following all necessary COVID-19 protocol. Each small group could complete a round at each of their places and then shuffle with other groups, thereby making each session a fun-filled discussion with new people and topics. The theme here is, rather than one single big meeting, we will have so many small subgroup meetings. As a matter of fact, we hosted one last week. In our club, we hosted one last week meeting in my home, that is Cochin Central, at my residence, and I strongly believe the outcome was quite engaging and reviving. So in conclusion, retention problems are so real, and I believe we need such approaches to tackle this in our Rotary.
Thank you very much, District Governor nominee Rajmohan Nair. Wonderful ideas, 2 very brilliant ideas that have come out. Well, we are privileged to have the District Director, Toastmasters International, Mrs. Nirmala Lilly with us. Nirmala, our chief guest had spoke about Toastmasters International in glowing terms. How do you see this partnership in leadership and service activities between Toastmasters and Rotary going forward or the way ahead? Over to you, Nirmala.
Thank you, Dr. G. N. Ramesh, for this wonderful opportunity given to me for your very special meeting of Synergy Plus and for the recognition of Toastmasters International. As Toastmasters, we empower our members to become more effective communicators and leaders. Our district mission is to build new clubs and support all clubs achieving excellence. The partnership between Rotary and Toastmasters, since I was also as Rotarian for a short time and Toastmaster for 15 years, what I understand is that activities of Rotary is for betterment of the society and the Toastmasters for the members' benefit, which in turn benefits the society. So we are on the same page. Main idea of this strategic alliance is to providing members with more opportunities for personal and professional growth. Partnering with Toastmasters, Rotarians can join Toastmasters and vice versa. There are many benefits of joining Toastmasters. When you join, we assure you that you will become more effective speakers, communicators, and leaders. We will involve you in all club activities. The very first day of joining, we will assign you a mentor and make sure all members speak at every meeting. We encourage you to participate in taking all club's rules. When you make a speech, there will be an individual evaluator to evaluate your speech and provide feedback. We organize speech contest for club level, international level, and select a world champion of public speaking every year during our international convention. The first time ever this year, international convention is going to be held on virtual platform, free of cost from 24 to 29 August. All are welcome. You can register directly on Toastmasters.org. Events of 2020 International Convention. In leadership, we have 7 opportunities at club level, right from president to sergeant at arms. There are leadership roles, area, division, region, and international level. Involving in communications and leadership track, members will gain courage and confidence to face any challenges in speaking and leading in their personal and professional life. Partnering also will help us to invite Rotarians to our various events as speakers, and we can also suggest our speakers to Rotary. We have programs like Speechcraft, Youth Leadership for clubs, and Rotaracts respectively. We can organize joint programs. We have already conducted joint panel discussions. In both organizations, the core values are almost same. Like-minded organizations joining together will strengthen the relationship of individuals, groups, and society. Looking forward to having a healthy partnership in mutually beneficial manner. Let's connect, communicate, contribute, and celebrate. Back to you, Doctor.
Thank you very much, Nirmala. I think a lot of Rotarians would be excited the concept of this partnership because the core values seem to be the same.
Yes.
Well, I said Rotary, the membership is the heart of Rotary, and heart has got 4 chambers, the 2 ventricles and 2 atria, you know. The atria probably would be the Rotaract. Rotaract has always been envisaged as a very, very vital part of Rotary. And today we have the District Rotaract representative, Janani, with us. Janani, how do you see, we have to invert this figure of 10%, 90% to 90%, 10%, 90% going on to become Rotarians. How do you think, or what do you think that Rotary can do to attract more Rotaractors?
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Respected District Governor Rotarian Jose, sir, and to all the distinguished panel members and to all the lovely delegates of this event, a very warm Rotaract greetings from Rotaract District 3201. Answering to this question, sir, a 18-year-old joins a college and then he gets to know about Rotaract. He gets a lot of knowledge on Rotaract and he joins a Rotaract club. So, and later on when he finishes his college, almost 4 years or 5 years, he stays into Rotaract, he works as a Rotaractor. Once after his college is over and he moves on into a corporate or into a firm where he starts working, he loses the connectivity to Rotaract. So what I would say, suggest as a small idea is that just like how in Rotaract we have clubs in the campus and in the community, if at all we can initiate Rotary clubs in corporates and firms, I think that would be a great way to take Rotary to people in their workspace itself, so that they can spend their time both in work and Rotary at probably the same place. So this would be one idea that would help us get more Rotarians, and Rotractors do not discontinue Rotract in that way. And the second point is that, yes, Rotract even has an equal amount of working professionals who still passionately continue Rotract. So for such people, if we could bring leaders from different fields who are a part of Rotary to address the Rotractors. Say, for example, when we have an aspiring advocate, a law student, or if we can bring in a doctor to meet a medical student and explain how Rotary has also helped the leader in the profession to achieve all what he's achieved so far, and how he's also managed to both serve society and also to network and build his profession also. If that can be done very religiously, very continuously to all the Rotaract clubs, that might help the Rotractors understand what Rotary and understand the benefits of being a Rotarian, and they can move on further joining a Rotary club. And the third part, I would say, the third point is that if at all in the next upcoming months, just like how we promote Rotary among the society, if at all we can take up initiatives in any form, let it be a fair or let it be another set of sessions to really make understand Rotractors what Rotary is. Hardly 10% of us have a clear idea of how Rotary works after 10 years of experience in Rotract. But a 5-year old Rotractor still is in a confusion what Rotary is all about. So if at all we can really explain him in every session on how a Rotary works and what are the benefits, moreover through a fair or for a by such means, like how we have educational fairs, we have colleges coming and explaining what they have done all through, and a student gets into that college. Like that, if all the Rotaries can put up a fair virtually or physically, and they can explain what is happening inside that club, this might attract Rotractors to join Rotary, is one idea. And there is a last point, is that there's a little challenge for Rotractors who are very young professionals in affording the dues of Rotary. So if there's something can be worked out in related to the dues that we pay to the Rotary clubs, and if there is some benefits and discounts for the young professionals who join Rotary, maybe that will also help more Rotractors get into Rotary.
Thank you. Thank you so much. In fact, in short, we need to sell Rotary more aggressively to Rotaract. That is what you want us to be doing, and that we will do. Okay, thanks. That brings to a close this interactive session. And just before we end, we have just time for the membership development plan outlay by each one of the district directors. Rotarian Maruti first from Zone 1 to just explain in very briefly what is his plan outlay for membership development. Maruti. Is Maruti there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good evening, everybody.
Yes.
And we have on the screen the statistics. Can that be shared?
Could someone put up the statistics which from Zone 1?
Yes. Well, everybody, along with the assistant governors, each cluster clubs, we've been discussing in detail various ways in which to get in new members to the respective clubs. We're looking at the culture of each club. We're looking at how well women can join that particular club or getting in Rotractors to that club. And we have made sure that we surpass whatever Coimbatore zone targets have been given. And right now, if you could see AG-wise, it's seen on the screen. We have committed for this year, the numbers are given. And in total, I think we will be crossing 300 members from Coimbatore zone. And this, I think, for sure will be happening. But we are looking at much more numbers because I'm so happy the clubs have committed personally and to the other assistant governors during our discussions that they are all taken up membership development very seriously. What we've seen here, a figure of roughly around 300, a percentage growth of 17%, we will certainly do much better than this. And also, we are very serious about the membership retention. So one angle of increasing the membership, and another thing is about the retention. So we are very serious about the retention also. We will make sure the retention is done perfectly, and this growth is maintained at whatever we projected right now, 17%. Maybe we will reach 20%, being optimistic by end of this year.
All the best to you, Maruti, and your team. I know you will achieve whatever you dream of. We now go on to Zone 2 and Rotarian Emmy Thomas, District Director, Zone 2. Could you just outline your plan of action for the remaining, for this year? Over to you, Emmy Thomas. Is Emmy Thomas online? If not, can we quickly move on? I still see Maruti. Yes, Emmy Thomas, yes. Finally, I got you. I think you're muted. You can unmute yourself if you're muted.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. In terms of numbers, Zone 2 is the smallest. Currently, 860 Rotarians are there and 25 clubs only. This year, we are planning around 19% growth. That means 162 members and 2 new Rotary clubs. Our year-end plan is 162, and in July we have already achieved 25 new injections, and August projection is 43. With this, our zone will be achieving 67 numbers, and for the remaining, during the remaining period, we will be inducting another 95. We are confident that we could achieve the year-end plan of 19%. That's all. Thank you.
Good, great. 19%, and that's a very, very encouraging figure that we see on screen. Thank you very much, Thomas. And I know that with your dedication, commitment, and your wonderful team, you will be able to achieve it. Over to Rotarian Mohan Kumar, who's the District Director, Zone 3. Yes, Mohan, I can see you. I hope you are unmuted.
Unmuted.
Yeah.
Respected leaders in Rotary, my dear friends, good evening to all. First of all, I would like to congratulate our DG, district trainer, and district leaders for selecting this time, the apt time to conduct this seminar, because this is the very beginning of the Rotary year. We have very keen, our water zone is very keen in membership growth. We discussed 2-3 meetings. We have conducted 2-3 meetings with our AGs and GGRs. Our plan is here in the screen. Actually, we have 1,444 members now. We've decided to increase this one by 286. That is 20% hike we expected this year. We already started induction in many clubs during their installation and other meetings. Our net outcome of our plan. Please go through the slide.
Can we have the final figure, please? 17%. Wonderful. I think the governor's own zone, and with a role model like the governor, you will not have a problem getting new members. Wonderful. I hope you are able to achieve what you're set out for. I have with me District Director, Zone 4, Balagopal, and he's going to tell us his action plan for this year.
Governor and friends in Rotary. In Zone 4, that's a Cochin zone, we have got 38 clubs, and the membership as on 1st July is 1,554. And our projection is 211. That is, we are projecting a growth of 14%. And I'm very happy to say that in this month of July, we have already achieved 28 numbers. That is 13% of the target we have already achieved. I would take this opportunity to congratulate Rotary Club of Cochin City with 5 new members, Rotary Club of Fort Cochin with 6 new members, and Rotary Club of Cochin Global with 5 members, out of which 4 are lady members, who have won the coveted Well-Begun Award from the District Governor. Congratulations to Assistant Governor Manoj Kumar, from whose cluster we got 2 clubs, and Assistant Governor Dr. Anthony Chetupura, from whose cluster we have got Rotary Club of Cochin Global. A word of appreciation to Rotary Club of Cochin Lords, who are going to induct 6 new members next week. That's all. Thank you.
All the best to you, Bala. Great. I think if all these figures are achieved, there's no reason why we will not be able to move to the 6,000 mark, cross the 6,000 mark, break that barrier, and get a good membership profile for our district. Thank you very much. Okay, now it's time for the recognitions, and I think it's now time to invite onto stage our beloved District Governor, Rotarian Jose Chaco, and the First Lady, Rosemary, for the pleasantries.
Good evening, friends. That was a wonderful program, well meticulously planned program, executed program. And let me congratulate all the leaders who worked behind this program. Past District Governor Baby Joseph, Dr. G.N. Ramesh, past District Governor Sunil K. Zakaria, and all the district directors, assistant governors, presidents who made it happen. Once again, I congratulate all the leaders for making this event a grand success. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Governor. And now for the vote of thanks, the District General Secretary, Rotarian E.M. Varghese.
Esteemed friends in Rotary, it is with a deep sense of gratitude that I am here today to wish adieu to all of you. This is the 3rd district seminar of the year 2021 and the 2nd seminar of membership, as our governor's main focus of the year is membership growth. It was a tremendous effort to put it together with this event, to which a lot of effort has gone into. Even in the pandemic period, Rotarian Jose Chaco, with his determination, have burned midnight oil to make it result-oriented program. Thank you, Governor Rotarian Jose Chaco, for your attempt, and wish you all the best to maintain tempo throughout the year. Today, we are fortunate to get Rotary International General Secretary, Mr. John Foucault, as our chief guest. COVID-19 shattered the world in all the ways, but we the Rotarians find opportunities to face the challenges through the motivations. We profusely thank you, sir. Assistant Regional Coordinator, PDG Suresh Matthew, is always with us to motivate us by putting facts and figures. A big thank you to you, sir. Our district trainer, PDG Advocate Baby Joseph, is the backbone for the year 2020-21. His guidance in appropriate time make us confident to take any task without hassle. Thank you, District Trainer PDG Advocate Baby Joseph, for your unconditional support. Service above self PDG Sunil Sakriya is our godfather. His knowledge, experience, and involvement help us to make all the events above international level. Thank you, sir, for your support above self. We had a good panel discussion with very informative aspects. Thank you very much, panelists, PDG KS Pillai, DG Rajashekar, DGN Rajmohan Nair, Toastmaster Director Narmala Lilly, and DRR Janani. We have the presence of an array of past district governors who are always to support us and guide us. Thank you all PDGs. Today's program is hosted by Rotary Club of Coimbatore, led by Program Chair Rotarian Advocate Sundar Vadivelu, District Chair Membership Development Rotarian S. Subramaniam, President Rotarian Mani, and Secretary Rotarian Ismail. Thank you all for your tireless efforts and dedication. Our Governor announced 15% growth as his vision on membership. The strong four-corner pillars, Rotarian Maruthi, Rotarian M.E. Thomas, Rotarian Mohan Kumar, and Rotarian Balagopal, raised it to 18% with their team pillars of 26 assistant governors. Thank you, district directors, assistant governors, and GGRs. A special mention to D.D. Balagopal sir for his involvement in the execution of today's program. I have no words to thank our GN. Though a busiest doctor, he was with us as faculty, speaker, entertainer, etc., etc. Without his melodious voice, this program would not have captured the minds of the participants. I extend a hearty thanks to you, Dr. G.N. Ramesh. The success of the program is the newly inducted Rotarians, the proposed members, presidents, secretaries, membership chairs, and the active Rotarians. Even in the continuous virtual deliberations, you act in main roles. Thank you for your continued support. Last but not the least, let me thank program organizer Rotarian Arvind Chandrasekhar for a week-long efforts. Rotarian Chella and his music team, Anso Farsi Angamali Greater, my left and right district secretaries Rotarian Aji and Bibin, and the team of secretariat members who made it possible as a magnificent event. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, Rotarian E.M. Varghese. I think we all now rise for the national anthem. May I request our district governor and First Lady to join me here.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
Thank you. I now request our district governor to close the meeting.
District Membership Development Week Inauguration Program Synergy Plus is hereby adjourned.
Thank you, my dear friends in Rotary and all invited guests, all those of you who were a part of this wonderful event called Synergy Plus. It has taken us quite a lot of effort to put this program together. It's been a wonderful experience. Like any other program, each one is a learning experience by itself. I'd like to thank our district governor, the trainer, for having given us this opportunity to be a part of this wonderful learning experience. As I prepare to sign off, I can only say one thing: stay home, stay safe, use the mask, use the sanitizer, and I'm sure sooner than later we will all together will overcome the crisis that we are faced with. Stay safe, all of you, and to all of you, good night from all of us here. Signing off, Dr. G. N. Ramesh.
Thank you, Dr. G. N. Thank you.